The whole idea behind this, what we're trying to say, is give yourself to whatever the product is. Put a little bit of yourself into it and put some thought and creativity into it. And it's amazing how well you can do when you do that.
Welcome to the Charcuterie Cottage Biz Podcast. Ready to turn your boards, bakes, and bites into real profits? Then you're in the right place. We're your hosts and real-life sisters, Chef Andrea and digital marketer Patti. We're excited to dish out fast, actionable tips and advice to help you price smarter, market bigger, and grow your food business online. From passion to profits, your recipe for success begins right here. Now, let's start the show. Hey, we're back.
Hello, everybody.
My sick sister, we've been gone. We've been AWOL. Somebody's been sick around
I'm
here.
so sorry, but I have been down for the count. I went down and didn't come up for almost 2 weeks. And that's only because I had a bad cold. And I feel bad because I had really good friends here when it happened. And I got sick with that and then backed that one right up with the flu. So good times.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, it's great when now the weather's nice. You can't even go outside. It's been nice.
I know, right?
The other thing I noticed is we're almost twins today. How did that happen? Woke up
I
this
don't
morning
know.
wearing almost the same outfits.
Wish
I looked as young as you.
Yeah.
Well, we're back anyway. So we are coming into the holiday season. So we thought today would be a great time to talk about getting ready to plug your holiday wares and things that you might want to sell, no matter what it is. So we got kind of a cool little list of things. I'm trying to get my pages here organized. It keeps hitting the minimize is telling me you can't minimize Zoom while you're on the Zoom. I'm like, oh, fine. Okay, fine. I'm hitting the wrong buttons apparently. Yeesh.
Well, I'm battling with a new computer, which I'm not complaining in any way, but I don't have it hooked up to all the screens. And so, that's a whole nother challenge that I was like not ready for, but it's okay. We
You
get
know
through it.
what? I think for our age, doing pretty good with this technology. I think we're doing
Yeah.
all right.
It could be worse.
Could be way worse. All right, friends and everybody. So first of all, I kind of want to just chat about why the holidays are so important for anyone in the charcuterie or cottage businesses. Why, what can we do to make more money, I guess, during the holidays? Why are they such a gold mine for sellers during this time? What could you be your 2 cents on that?
Well, my 2 cents are that this is the time where you make, at least in my case, I make probably, I want to say like 60, maybe 70% of all the money I'm going to make is going to happen in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So the rest of the months are kind of built up of just doing other stuff and whatever. But this is crunch time,
Yeah.
And I was telling Patti, we were talking about, for lists and stuff, and we'll get into that. But planning, there's a reason why in retail, I used to call it, Christmas in July, because the products start to arrive and you start planning and it literally starts happening in July. And the big companies are making their plans even before that, as soon as the Christmas is over. So,
Yeah.
think Target and Walmart and all that stuff. They're doing all their buying for these products,
During the summer.
right after the other one ends.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is how it works. But you got to be on your game. It's not too late, is what we're trying to say. We're in, what are we? We're in October.
Yeah.
We're in October. See, I've been sick for 2 weeks. I got sick in September and now it's October. So on October 6th, we're still, it's not too late. You can still
No.
get a lot done.
And I think the thing is like we think about cottage food and our stuff being perishable and all that kind of stuff. You're making breads, it's not going to last long. But people can take stuff and put some of it in the freezer. But on the other hand, and we are going to talk about, we're going to give you, but stick around because toward the end of this, we're going to do a fast 25 top items, unique items that you could think about selling for the next let's see, I think 5 holidays coming up, and we're going to run them down. So make sure you stick around to the end of this podcast. But and a lot of that is pre-made stuff that is not necessarily going to perish in a day, right?
Right.
So if you have the ability to make, maybe you've had to put a list in with your, area certification, cottage business or whatever it is that you're selling, you might want to update that if you want to come up with some, stuff that's a little bit more sturdy, I guess. What's a term for that? Sturdy.
Stable, shelf
Stable. I
stable,
said
shelf
stable and then I
stable.
forgot it already.
Yeah, I don't why sturdy was not the word that was
I
coming
knew it
out.
began with an S and I'm just gonna stutter it right out of my mouth. Uh, Sturdy, stable. So yeah, more stable. And I did see in a group recently that somebody said, I'm really tired of losing money with food that's not selling. So what can I
Yeah.
do that's a little more shelf stable that you could sell? And the always that comes to mind is that is your spices that you make. You make
Hmm.
those spices that are like duplicates of Fuddruckers and Big Boy and whatever, Red Robin or whatever.
Yeah. I
They're
do
just
only,
knockoffs.
I don't, they are my own recipes
Yeah.
based on what I know from those different restaurant chains, but they are kind of, well, Red Robin, I guess, isn't defunct, but Big Boy
No,
is hanging on by a thread, and I don't even know if Fuddruckers
I
is
was
still
at
around.
Red Robin down here in Scottsdale the other
Yeah,
day.
there's still Red
Yeah.
Robins everywhere,
Yeah.
but you go in there and I don't know what they charge for the big the big thing, or you steal it
Yeah,
off the table, one or the other. But it's delicious
yeah.
stuff and people love it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
people
the
do like it.
copycat recipes as long as it clearly states copycat
Yeah.
on the
Well,
labels.
and then there's you don't have to actually sell food, 100%
Right.
food, do you? I mean, you can go sell little trinkets and food
Hmm.
related items like you do. Give them
Yeah.
some ideas of kind of the stuff that you sell, which we laugh about all the time because some
I
of the
know.
stuff is just
So
hilarious.
silly. I've just stumbled into that totally. So, I make earrings and I make keychains, which actually now my daughter makes for me. She also makes dog bandanas, and we found a ton of different fabrics that are all food related,
Mhm.
and to make these dog bandanas, and then what else I got on that table? Oh, stickers. Everything I design or something in some form or another, it comes out of designing from me. Now, the stickers I
Mostly.
order locally, I just found that was cheaper than going and buying all the equipment to make a waterproof sticker. But, there's so many things you can do that, do whatever works for you. Don't pigeonhole yourself because you have a cottage license and you think you should be making sourdough until the end of time.
Yeah, what
There
give it.
are a million other things that you can try.
Mhm.
And if you're worried about, you know, things being shelf stable or whatever the case may be, don't just keep trying different things because you
Yeah,
just really never know. Now, here's an
what's gonna
interesting thing
hit?
I saw over the weekend. Went to one of our big craft fairs down here in northern Arizona, and this lady was doing salsa, but it was dried salsa. So what she had were
Ooh.
these packages where clearly what she's doing is dehydrating or freeze drying, one or the other, um, vegetables. So she might do tomatoes, peppers, whatever the mixture needs to be, cilantro,
Yeah,
whatever. And she's mixing it
onions.
all together. And then she's drying it out. And then she probably puts it in a very fine food processor. And then she puts them in the spice bags. And then the thing when we read it was just add water to it. And
Wow, that's it?
yeah, I didn't try it because the line was really long at her testing thing, and I
Ooh.
wasn't interested. But it's so funny because I have thought over and over. I've been told that I can dehydrate tomatoes so that I can eliminate the need to add tomatoes to my soup recipes, my dry
Mhm.
soup recipes that most of mine need some kind of additional something. But I'd really like to get it to where it's just all water.
That's a
So
great idea because that would
I thought
probably
that was a
last
great
forever.
idea. Yeah. And it
Yeah.
was crowded. So I assume, excuse me, I'm still coughing. I assume that they must have tasted good.
Yeah.
So they were just these little, she just
Little
did the
tiny
little bags.
packets.
Yeah, the little
I don't
like
think I've ever
maybe
seen that. That's great.
I don't think I've ever seen that either. I thought it was a great idea. It looked like she'd been around a while. I mean, she was really organized and
Yeah,
her packaging looked like you can just tell when people are established and they've been doing it for
doing
a
it a
while.
while. What's your best-selling item?
Soup.
Yeah,
Soup,
the
soup,
dried
soup.
soup mix.
I make
Yeah.
almost all the money I make is through soup. The rest of the stuff that I do on my tables with the jewelry and all of that stuff. And every once in a while, if I feel like it, I throw charcuterie boards together. I can pre-pack them here in Arizona and
Hmm.
I put them in a cooler and I sell those. But I haven't been doing those as much recently because it's been so hot. And
Yeah, it's
the
finally
challenge
cooling
is
off.
always trying to keep everything cool.
Right.
So I will throw those together. Those are coming, those are going to come up in the next coming months because we're finally in the 70s. Oh, thank
Yeah,
God.
gosh,
I mean,
I know.
Patty's still in the 90s or whatever, but I'm in the 70s up here
Yeah.
in northern Arizona. So it's wonderful.
I had to
So
get the
the
parka out. It got into the 80s the other day. I got so
oh, heavens.
yeah, I was like, it was. I had my granddaughter here. I had Isabel here over the weekend, and I go. She's so used to just being outside and running around half naked. We live in the desert out here. She's only 3, so she says, "I go. You need to take a bath before we go because we had a show. I had a show yesterday." I go, you got to take a bath. And she goes, I want to do it outside. And I go, it's cold out there. And it was like at 80. I go, well, the water is going to be cold. She goes, I'm not going to be cold. I said, if I take you out there and you start complaining, you're going to be cold because we're not coming in. You're going to stay
Yeah.
out there. So she didn't complain about the water, but the wind hit. And then she was like, it's windy, it's cold. I'm like, I told you. Anyway, that I love all those ideas, and I think that's the thing. You can think outside the box. You don't have to be like pigeonholed,
Right.
and just make sure. I guess you've passed these things with your certification or with your
If you need to,
local
yeah, just
requirements to
you
make
can go
sure.
in and just, at least in Arizona, you can go in and just send them a quick email and they'll update it at some time. But,
Yeah, just do it.
you
And
know,
even if you don't
well, it's
hear
not a
back from
big
them,
deal. And
beg forgiveness.
even if you don't ever use it again, at least it's in there, or
Yeah.
maybe you only use it during the Christmas season. Maybe you just want to do cake pops or whatever they're doing. What were we looking at? There's another one on
Yes.
there,
So the
the
one,
cocoa
yeah,
bombs and all that stuff. So
yeah.
maybe you only want to do that at this time of year. That's fine. Just add it to your list. It's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
I learned
So,
something recently, which I'd never seen before, because of course I'm seeing all these videos now of all the different kinds of things you can sell, those cake pucks.
yeah,
And they look delicious. And all I could think of was they remind me of not the ho-hos, but the maybe they are ho-hos. Yeah, maybe they remember when we were growing up, the ho-hos were in like
yeah.
aluminum,
Right.
really skinny aluminum foil.
Yes.
And so those pucks remind me of that. And they sell the silicone molds for them. And they're like cake pops, but you smash them in. But before you smash them in there and then you kick them out, they're round. They're the size of those. And then they're round. And then you kick them out of there. And then you put in some sort of ganache that gets hard, like hard ganache type, and it gets crispy. And then you smash them back in there and then you put them in the fridge. And then but you can buy them that have an option to add a stick to it.
Yeah.
So they can either just be loose as a, round, they look like a hockey puck. They're the size of a hockey puck. But
Mhm.
they basically just make cake and you smash them up. I've never made a cake pop before in my entire life, and nor will I probably ever because I really have no interest in those. But these
Yeah.
these pucks look really kind of fun. And you can decorate them up like crazy. So if anybody who's doing those, I would be looking into that because then we could package those up and then people can walk around with those. Kids
With
will
the
love
stick.
them,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know. I
Hmm.
think anything you can get that kids are going to love is going to do well, especially if it's like just grab and go and eat while you're walking around the rest of the event. If you're going to be at an outdoor event or something,
Right.
or you have your market stand out in your street or whatever, stuff like that would be great. But I think the other key to wanting to do this is that I think don't you feel like you could charge more during this time of year? Because
Oh, yeah.
people are buying
Yeah.
gifts, right? They're
Yeah, you
buying,
totally can.
yeah.
You can charge more. And the reality is if you're spending more on that market, whatever it is, you do want to adjust your price accordingly so that you're not cutting yourself short. And that is one of the mistakes that I see in a lot of different markets where, I might see the same people over and over again and they don't necessarily change their food pricing to accommodate what they've paid to be there.
Hmm.
Granted, if you pay more, usually you get better foot traffic. So the theory would be that you're going to sell more in volume and then make up for it.
Right.
But, I typically will add another dollar to most of my items for Christmas markets and things because people are just, they're just happy to be there and it's
Yeah.
fun and it's likely, I always tell them, I
Get you
go,
in the
well, I don't
spirit.
know if I'll have that next time around, if you see me next week or whatever.
Yeah.
So I might sell out of that or something along those lines. So, and that brings me to what Patty and I were just talking about, just a little side note. What the worst thing you can do if you are doing a pop-up or Christmas market or something, don't sit there on your phone. Please don't.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
get up, talk to people, engage, be a part of the plan because or be a part of the party
Yeah.
because those are the people that are the people that they don't you can tell when somebody wants to talk and you can tell when people totally don't want anything to do with you. But at least say hello.
Yeah.
Don't sit there on your phone and with your head down and not even engaging because to me those are the worst kinds of sellers.
Yeah.
Just because you have a great product doesn't mean you don't need to go out and sell it,
Yeah. Well,
just be
stand up. At
yourself.
least they know there's a human back there. I mean,
I
so you
know.
walk by and you
Telling
go,
you,
is there anyone
it's
back
bad.
there?
It's
Yeah.
bad. It's really,
Yeah.
really bad. And then those people, those crafters are the first ones to complain that they didn't make their money back. Well, that's because you sat on your phone for 3 days. If you do that, you're not
Doom
gonna,
scrolling.
yeah, totally doom scrolling.
And
Like
they're,
get off your phone and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
You're
okay.
spending
You'll
money
be
to be at
okay.
that event. You should
Yeah,
be up doing something
exactly.
to try to sell it a
Exactly.
little bit. Jeez.
That was my 2 cents on that.
There's your, well, it was more
My
like
preaching.
$10, and I'll take it.
Okay.
So now if we're going to plan ahead for these things, we're going to talk about how many weeks in advance, if you're going to get, you want to plan to market, right? So, and I know in our world, I was just telling Andrea that Thanksgiving's coming up, how far in advance, because it's a bigger holiday that if somebody is gonna order from you in advance, they'll probably start ordering maybe now. Well, now is
Yeah.
probably you're running out of time probably for Thanksgiving and even
Yes.
maybe Christmas
Yeah.
if you're going to be if you sell something that everybody really likes,
Right.
you want to start getting your orders in. So that means you want to have, your things on your website so that people can order in advance. Maybe start keeping track of who's scheduling for whatever it is you're like, if it's a charcuterie cart, if it's a charcuterie boards, big boards, how many do you know that you can make in a day? Same thing when it comes to big loaves of bread, how busy, and on top of that, how busy are you the rest of the week or whatever while you're trying to plan for deliveries and making sure that you are not,
Hmm.
taking on too much and then can't handle it. That
Right.
that would be the concern I would have right
Right.
now
Right.
over
Definitely
that.
keep yourself, know what you can handle. And
Right.
especially if you're new, and, I know everybody wants to make money, but if you're new, you don't want to be that new person that overbooks and can't deliver
Yeah.
and your food is crappy because you rush through it.
Yeah.
So if you're new, it's okay to slow down and take your time and learn the process, learn how fast you can do things in your kitchen.
Hmm.
And that way, the next time around, then you're going, okay, this is how I did it, and this is what I can handle.
Right.
Schedule only for the weekends for deliveries, however you need to do it,
Yeah.
depending on if you're working still.
Yeah. If you have a
So
regular
just
day,
don't oversell
other day
yourself
job.
because you want all the money in the world. That's going to backfire on you
What? Who
big time.
doesn't want all the money in the world?
I know.
I
I
don't.
know.
Well, that comes down to maybe you want to make sure you sit down and plan menus out for what you're gonna sell, and that'll save you a bunch of time if you can do it now for the stuff that's coming up for Christmas,
Hmm.
and Thanksgiving, obviously, and Hanukkah if you offer anything for those holidays. But definitely start figuring out, okay, what am I going to sell?
Hmm.
Start getting your menus together, start writing them down, typing them up, whatever it takes to so that you're ready, and then planning out the costs. So make sure that you're charging correctly and not losing money. And we just can't stress enough how important it is that you remember to count your time for actual labor because
Hmm.
gosh, I saw this thing the other day. I should have taken a picture of it. It was just a post that somebody made that said the amount of time it takes to make a cake. And that's not even really counting the stuff. Like if you're making a fancy cake, how much time it takes after, if you're going to do a good job decorating and all this stuff. And then, it was like 8 hours. And then when
Hmm.
you figure that you're charging for that cake and it's you totally, and then how much do you think you deserve per hour?
Hmm.
And there are people that worry they're going to overcharge and no one's going to buy it. But, I think we go back to people want something different and unique these days. And, depending
Yeah.
on what the cake's for, obviously, if it's a wedding cake, charge up the yin yang, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, you have to count the labor that in
You
that
do have
time.
to count the labor, but at the same token, the only other thing I would say about that is, don't get nutty with it. Remember
Hmm.
that the cost is really important, but also don't charge, you want to look at it and say, okay, so my cost is this much, and we have pricing calculators for all of this, but my cost is this much, my, um, and so my profit at the end of the day, when between the cost and what I want to charge is this much. And then
Hmm.
say divide that by the number of hours, that it took you to make that, and that will give you your hourly price that you're paying yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and if it's not high enough and you realize, 8 hours at whatever it's going to be is just simply not worth your time and effort,
To
well,
even do
then
it. Yeah.
then don't do it. And if
Right.
you can't, if you don't think you can get away with charging more to pay yourself more, then that is obviously something to consider. But it all comes down to being able to cost properly.
Yeah.
That is so many,
I
that's
know.
just the biggest issue that simply everybody who hasn't done food and beverage before, that's the biggest struggle they have.
Yeah.
And because we're out here doing it, we have to buy from our local grocery stores or Costco or whatever. We're not buying in this massive bulky,
Yeah.
stuff from a restaurant place. We're spending a little bit more to make it all happen, but that's how it starts.
Yeah. In the
And
cottage
in the
business,
cottage
in the
business, that's
home-based
how it
food
works.
industry. Yeah.
But you
Right.
really have to think about it and offer something that just other people in your neighborhood are not offering. And then people will pay extra for
Yeah,
that
because it's different, right?
because it's different. They're all looking for something off not off the shelf.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I know when you make your soups, you've made bundles, right? So,
mhm,
which is a great way, I think, to make more money because you're going to get them to buy more. If they buy like three, they'll get a
right,
discount. So your soups
right.
are normally like $12 or whatever, and
Yeah,
then you bundle them up. But then you got to think, well, if I give you three, I'm going to charge you $30 or what? I don't know.
right.
What do you do?
That's
I
exactly what it is,
yeah.
actually.
So
I
you
take
get
$2 off of each one.
yeah.
Now, I will say with everybody that my soups do not cost me they're $2 a cost
Hmm.
with the packaging, with everything included.
The coolest
So
packaging.
I keep all of my prices low because there's nothing in my pop-up shop that costs me more than $2, and the soups are the most expensive. So this is what I mean when I say the costing is like that's it. I mean that's all of it. So if I do take a hit because I'm going to sell three at 30 instead of three at 36, that's okay with me because I'm still making decent
Yeah,
money off of
right.
that and I'm selling a volume amount.
Right.
So I hope that makes sense, but that's how I look at it.
Right.
I might not have made that $30 in the long term sitting
Hmm.
there if I didn't have them grouped together.
Right.
So,
Now, and
and
if,
I will always throw out there, like if somebody wants two soups and they can't decide. So let's say
yeah,
instead of, okay, I'll give it to you for 22,
yeah,
instead of two for 24, which would be the normal price.
yeah, there's
So
nothing stopping you
being ready
from,
to wheel and deal.
but I love the bundling idea. And I think, like you said, unless you're sure that you can set that they're just going to fly off the shelf. Because I'd be worried about that I didn't have enough product and now I'm bundling stuff up and then I'd run out before the end of the event or whatever it
Right,
is I'm doing.
right.
Now, if I'm online selling this stuff, that's a different story, which, by the way, everyone should be selling their stuff online.
Hmm.
And again, go back and watch a few of our previous podcasts. We talk about making sure that you've got your products online and making sure that you're tracking, and planning ahead and all of that stuff. But I would totally be doing that. But like you could have, say, for instance, a charcuterie box that also has maybe dessert in it, or
Hmm.
like what were we talking about just now, actually? Oh, the scented, smelly stuff for the pot.
Oh,
What
the
is
simmer
the
pots, which
simmer
I
pots,
just
right?
started creating,
Yeah.
and I love those. I don't, I've been meaning for years to do them, and this is the first year that I felt organized enough because it takes a lot of time in my day. Well, I shouldn't say that. It just takes a lot of time to like dry vegetables because it takes like 8 hours. So my dehydrator is running 24
Anyway,
hours a day pretty much at this time of year. So I slid in some apples and what else I do? And some
there was
citrus,
oranges,
oranges and limes
cloves.
and lemons.
Yeah.
And,
And
and made these simmer pots and I sold them, on the last show that I had. So, and they just smelled so dang good. Of course, I
right.
had to test them out. So I had
Yeah.
these things rolling on my stove and they just smell so
So
good.
yummy. And there's a
Yeah,
great time of year for those things.
it
But
it
what I was
is.
saying, suggesting to you is just you could bundle it up with the dollar store or something and buy just a a simmering thing that you
Yeah.
could do with a candle maybe. I don't know if you need more power for those because they
I
are kind
tried
of
doing it with a candle and I have these European like heating food heater things that you can use candles with.
yeah.
So I did try to do that and it did work, but it definitely, you need just a little bit of a bubbling going on and you can't get quite the bubble with the candles. But I think if you had it like an electric, they do sell electric
Little
simmer
simmer
pot
pots.
things
Yeah.
or even an electric crock pot, like
Little
a
mini
little
one.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I used to have one 100 years ago and I
Those
couldn't
are
find it.
bundle them
So,
up. They're great gifts, and you can
yeah,
put them in a bag. And
yeah,
hey, it's
yeah.
a whole combination. And people are looking for gift ideas right now because they're going
Right.
to be going to visit people's houses and
Mhm.
whatever. So
Everybody wants something different. I keep telling,
right,
don't go to Walmart and buy the same old crap that everybody else buys.
yeah, exactly. Because everybody's seen. I think I saw that at Walmart.
Mhm.
So no, I love all that idea, and I just think think about out of the box a little bit on how can you whatever this product is. If you're selling bread, maybe you can also make jam to go with it, and then combine them together, and you've got a cute little package. And I think it all really does to come down to packaging. And I know we've talked about this before. Your little packages you make with the soup, I think, really sells the soup itself
It
because they
does.
look like mason jars, but they're just
They're
rubbery
bags.
bags.
Yeah.
There's a
Hmm.
rubber. What is it? Silicone
No,
bags.
no, they're
Silicone?
not silicone.
Oh, plastic?
They're
Oh.
just plastic, I think. But they're
They're
like,
like heavy duty Ziplocs.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like reusable Ziplocs, but they look like mason jars.
Yeah.
So, and I layer them up just like
Easy to
mason
travel.
jars, just like you would in a mason jar.
We'll
And
put a
the,
picture of one and maybe we'll grab a link and put them in the post here in the
okay,
show notes so people can grab them.
see what it
So
looks like.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
I think that's a great
it's
idea.
a very, yeah, it's a really, and that just came out of necessity because I'm alone when I go and do craft fairs and I can't carry the cases of glass jars. They weigh a
Hmm.
ton after
Yeah.
they're full.
Yeah.
So, and then I had a lot of people. So, doing the shows down in Scottsdale, I had a lot of people from other areas and they were like, oh, we can't take it because it's glass and, I
Yeah.
don't want it to break in my suitcase. So that was also the reason I had to look for another packaging. And granted, there are a lot of people out there making dry soup mixes or buying them in buckets and then scooping them into bags, however that works for them. It irritates me that people do that, but whatever, more power to them.
Right.
So, but they were just putting them in cellophane bags or just plain old bags. And I
Yeah.
don't know, there's no character to them, but that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind this, what we're trying to say is give yourself to whatever the product is, put a little bit of yourself into it and put some thought and creativity
Right.
into it. And it's amazing how well you can do when you do that.
Packaging makes such a big difference,
It
and it's not
does.
that expensive in general
Right.
to add a bow or something along.
It was cheaper for me to go with these bags, which in the end just worked out better every way.
Yeah.
It was cheaper for me to use those in mason jars anyway.
Yeah.
So, You never
Yeah, now
know.
the dollar store is $1.50. We were in there the other
I
day.
know. I
And
know.
so,
That's insane.
yeah.
That's just
Thank
like
you,
I just went,
Karis.
what?
Yeah,
So now
yeah,
you guys are more expensive. I can go to Walmart and go get tissue paper for cheaper. Did you all
yeah,
know that? It's
yeah,
cheaper at Walmart than
yeah,
it is at Dollar Tree now. And whatever. There's nothing
yeah.
we can do to stop that.
No,
So
just increase your prices so you're not losing money on this stuff.
yeah, don't lose money or
Right,
go and find better places to find that stuff. Like
right.
right now, if you need tissue paper or any of that kind of stuff, they have those massive bags or massive whatevers at Costco. So you can buy 400 sheets of white plain old tissue
Oh,
paper for
yeah,
like
perfect.
$8.
Yeah, yeah,
And I looked at that going, I'm going to have to go buy like three of those, and that will get me through an entire year,
right. One thing I
So
note about that too is that that stuff sells really fast and it'll be
it
gone
does.
and probably by
Right,
Thanksgiving. So you gotta,
right.
yeah, because
You
that
got to
stuff
get
does go
it.
fast.
So,
Um, but as far as
but that's what we
pre-orders,
talk about with planning.
yeah,
Look at
right,
something and say, this makes sense. Don't
right.
just go buy it because, I
And
said
I,
so.
I would be putting a big banner. If you can't do it on your website, then you need to contact us because we do this stuff here at Grazing Biz. But you guys know grazingbiz.com. You need help with your website. You need marketing help. Please, please, you guys reach
Yeah.
out. We've
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
free demo on there. We'll show exactly what we can do. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Sell
Yeah.
anything,
Don't
okay?
be scared of the website thing because
Yeah.
it's
So
a
what
absolute necessity these days.
I'd have a banner popping up, and as soon as they try to leave, said order by whatever date and guarantee that you'll have a spot by, whatever holiday it is. So you got to be sure
Yeah.
that, you're putting everything you can into your site to capture people. If you want to offer a coupon, give them a BOGO, which till recently, believe it or not, I didn't know what that meant. And it took me
Oh, you
this
did it?
this year, I figured out what it meant.
You just
Believe it
rolled
or
with it
not, I'm an
every time you
idiot.
saw it, you just rolled with it. Oh,
I
that's a good
was
deal.
I was thinking it was like, I don't know why. It's like, oh, there's that design that's kind of popular. It's kind of what our shirts look like. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, I thought it was along those lines. Anyway, BOGO, buy one, get one free.
Oh, you're
So,
thinking of that brand. You're
yeah,
thinking of the brand. Yeah. I forget. But
boho.
I don't know if it's
That's
boho.
what
But
it is.
anyway, yeah,
Anyway,
I get
boho's
it.
different. That's different than BOGO. So it's what, anyway.
Boho is bohemian. BOGO is buy one, get one.
That's anyway, I'm an idiot. But I would say make sure that you're doing everything you can to let people know that give them deadlines, even if it's not really true, but still put it on there because that'll give people the, oh, I'm going to miss out feeling,
Yeah,
and that
it'll
would
get them
hopefully,
the incentive to move a little faster
right.
if they're on the fence. So,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then of course you want to start promoting. So we know Thanksgiving's coming up. Right now, I'd be getting all my emails out for all the, if you're keeping track and you've got a CRM, a contact relationship management software, or some way to email people and send them text, give them idea. I was working with an agent, or not an agent. I was working with a charcuterie business owner this morning, and we were working on her email setup, and she was just amazed because we set up all the templates that previously for Thanksgiving, and these are all built in our system like this already, but you guys can build them in whatever system you have. But all she had to do, we were working on her website and her contact me page that was setting up the calendar, and she wanted people to start reaching out to her. Well, we took that page and stuck it into a field that's set up in the back, and that loaded automatically into every single template we have. She just like, you should have saw her face. She was just shocked. I go, look at that. It loaded your logo, every email template. It loaded in your website, whatever page you wanted to send them to, and you can go in there and replace it out. But these were built for all the different holidays. So I said, now is the time to start marketing whatever you're going to promote at Thanksgiving.
mhm.
Obviously, Halloween's coming up. You still got time, if you're going to sell cookies
Yeah,
for,
Halloween's cutting it close, but you could still do it. You can
yeah,
still squeeze them in there.
I'd be there. I'd
So,
be all over it right now. If I
yeah,
if I wasn't traveling, I'll be leaving. I'll be working, but I'll be traveling a little bit for the
yeah.
next few weeks. So, but yeah, so make sure that you're starting to do your promotions now, and you can even do early bird specials if they order now. You got,
Right. Like
obviously,
for Christmas or New Year's,
yeah,
you could totally say that if you buy
right.
now or order now or whatever, yeah, you get 15% off or whatever you want to
Mhm.
do, or spend this amount of money, spend $100, you're going to save 15, however you guys want to do it. But yeah,
Well, and the
definitely get on
content
it.
that you could create, obviously, you could take video of yourself packing and
Hmm.
wrapping and cooking and piping and baking, all of those things. People are going to see you and go, "Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about it, but that'd be a great gift for somebody." So
Hmm.
start posting it all over on your personal pages if you don't have a business page, because if you have a business page, you probably don't have a lot of people following you yet if it's brand new or it's newer. So do it in your personal and do it on your business page, or post it on your business page and then share it on your personal page in Facebook and Instagram. You should set up business pages, peeps. You need to do
Hmm.
that if you really want to look legit. And again, that's stuff we help you with, but you just go to Facebook, go to Instagram. You can switch your personal page over to a business account as well. Why do you want to do it? Partly because the way that the algorithms work inside the software is they're going to promote things differently. And in your personal world, everybody doesn't see everything. They'll see everything on a public page, but they're not going to see it unless you post it as a public post. And a lot of times we don't think about doing that, or we don't know how. So when you want to make a post, you basically just post it, and you can change the privacy setting if you want everybody to see it, meaning anybody out in the internet world. And if you don't want anyone to see it and you just want your friends or whatever your settings are, then not everyone's going to see it. So, but they will if you have a business page. But then you can post it on your business page and then share it, click the share button and share it to your personal page. And then
Hmm.
that way, people in your personal world will see what's going on in your business page. And you can even say, follow me, you guys. I've got these great deals and I'm offering up these awesome things. So start thinking outside the box of the kind of things that people see. You see it all the time if you are watching other people do stuff. I do. I watch everything everybody's doing, especially when it comes to piping cupcakes, because I'm really into that these days, right? So I mean, I'm just like addicted so bad to. I'm getting better, by the way. Um, and then, so just make sure that you're doing that. I mean, it's just really important. And then everybody that you're selling to, make sure that you're putting them into your digital list. If again, go back to your CRM and getting yourself set up so that you can promote to them the next holiday. We have 5 holidays between now and the new year. So right now,
Hmm.
what we're going to do, we're going to go through 25 unique items that you can make, and maybe some of you are already doing something similar to this. So Andrew and I are going to banter back and forth about these 25 different things, and we're going to start with Halloween. I'll start first. Ready? Okay, first one's going to be beautiful, I want to say beautiful, but it's going to be boo-tiful charcuterie cups. So maybe you fill it up with like a mini, you get like a mini paper cup even. They're just little mini ones if you want, and then fill them with something orange, like maybe cheddar cheese, maybe even some oranges for that matter.
Hmm.
Up oranges, maybe. I don't know. It depends on when you're selling them. Black olives. So we got orange and black, right? You could throw in some salami of some sort, some sort of candy corn toppers, something along anything related that you think people would want for a Halloween charcuterie cup that you could give away, right? Or sell, give away. I don't give shit away. No, I'm kidding. I give stuff away. But that might actually not be a bad idea if you wanted to give a sample, if you can get away with it in your world. So, all right, that's my first one. Number one.
Okay.
Number two.
Number two, Monster Mash snack box. So this would be, I'm thinking in terms of like doing one of those, what they call snackle box. So it's like got all these different compartments, and you could just do a kid-friendly mix, popcorn, different flavored popcorn, maybe the cheesy cup, one because it's orange,
Hmm.
pretzels, candy eyes. They got those weird, scary looking candy eye things that they sell even at Dollar Tree, which
Oh
is now
yeah.
$1.50,
It's
and
yeah.
chocolate drizzles. Whatever you want to do, just be creative and make it look Halloweeny.
Yeah, I love that. I think popcorn is one of the most popular,
Hmm.
least expensive things to
It
make.
is. Yeah.
And you can make cheese corn,
Yeah.
and maybe
Yep.
throw in
Yep.
some candy with it, some candy corns just for shits, shit
Hmm.
giggles. All right, number three, witches brew cocoa bombs. We've been talking about you
I
making
know. I
cocoa
want to do that.
stuff decorated. Now, in this case, you could call it witches brew cocoa bombs and make hot cocoa mixture of some sort and then throw in some fun candy eyeballs or some kind of neon green drizzle thing or something if you wanted to. But I think you could probably even make, I was watching, oh my gosh, this might be my new really kick. Making your own marshmallows. I was
I've seen
watching,
that. Yeah,
yeah, they were piping flowers out of marshmallow,
I know.
stuff that they make their own marshmallow stuff. Anyway, that you can make that any color you damn well want to. So,
Hmm.
all right, number four.
Charcuterie board. Everybody hear that? Charcuterie, a spooky
Boo.
themed grazing board with
Dang it.
brie ghosts, which you can buy the little cookie cutters, those little teeny cookie cutters to do that, bat-shaped crackers, and blackberry spider eggs. Not quite sure how that works out. Blackberry spider eggs.
I don't know, but you can make anything
But
out
you
of
can do anything you
blackberries.
want. I mean, there's
Yeah.
tons of ideas out there for little Halloween boards, like a charcuterie
Yeah,
board.
and you can just use cookie cutters to cut out cheese and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen
Hmm.
them make, like I just saw one that pumpkin, they had just took all the little items you would put on a charcuterie board, but they shaped it in the shape of
And
a
yeah,
pumpkin, which I
yeah,
thought was a really good idea. Number five was another great idea I thought was the trick or treat cookie decorating kit. So you would already have the pre-made cookie shapes, right? And then you can throw in icing bags, figure out a way to do that. I don't know
hmm.
exactly know
There's
how you
lots
would.
of ideas online to get these. You can buy the little tiny bags, and
Oh,
then you just fill
nice.
it with that royal icing or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they seal the end of it, which is
Hmm.
what I was talking to you about. You can buy just handheld sealers, or you could buy the one that goes up and down and it just seals the bag. And
Yeah.
then they throw all the, little sparkly things in there, like the little glitter,
Yeah.
that edible glitter things that are shaped like Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
You could do that for any one of these holidays for
Great
that
idea.
matter.
And
Yeah.
especially if you're going to be at any weekend events and stuff between now and Thanksgiving or Halloween, we're still on. That's prime time stuff. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that seems like it'd be really easy to do. I think possibly you could also do what you're doing and make the cookie mix dry and put it in
Yeah.
your container and then throw that in.
You could do
Now
it
they can
that
just
way.
make them at their own leisure later,
Yeah.
which they could make more and then you could charge more probably for them.
Hmm.
All right, now we're going to start with Thanksgiving and we're going to go back to number one. We have five items for Thanksgiving. Oh, you're up.
Oh, mini harvest charcuterie boxes. Okay, yeah. Individual snack boxes with cranberry infused cheeses, turkey slices, grapes, and candied pecans. So you're still rolling with that Thanksgiving theme of definitely the cranberry stuff and then the
Mhm.
turkey slices that you could just roll up and stick in there. And again, with that, you can do the snackle box idea. You can go back to that. Or
Right.
you can just put it in a box, decorative box.
I love the
Those things are
candied
not that
pecan idea.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, candied pecans. Yeah, that's a great, or any kind of nuts. Great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, number two on the Thanksgiving list, pumpkin pie truffle bites. So if it's cottage approved in your area, so that's the key, obviously, because it's
Hmm.
going to have some perishable stuff in it, most likely. But you could just make them truffles and add pumpkin spice to them and graham cookie coating kind of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Graham
pumpkin
crackers.
spice, I was making. I told you I was making rolls. I was making our grandma's cinnamon roll recipe, and I'm like, I'm gonna get up and make cinnamon rolls because I didn't have anything else in the house. I didn't think, and I get out there. I had no cinnamon. I had no brown sugar. I had like 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I had a very little bit of cinnamon, but that was only because it was mixed in with sugar that we put on our fry bread around here. And what else did I have? I was missing something else. I had no nuts. I had no raisins. I had flour. I had butter, and I had yeast from 2022 in the freezer. And I was,
But it worked.
oh my God, it worked like a dream. I mean, it was. It was like I,
So,
and I laughed because I had also had no eggs that this recipe that I make the rolls with normally have eggs in it. And I actually started thinking, I think I'm gonna like it better without the eggs because it gets a little bit too cakey. It made no, and they turned out really, really, really good. But I didn't have any cinnamon, so I'm looking through cupboard, so I had to use pumpkin pie spice instead. Nobody noticed.
You
At
know,
least the
it's
people that were
cinnamon
eating at
is
my
in it.
house.
Cinnamon is in it,
Right.
so that's okay. They just gave it that Thanksgiving flavor.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So anyway, pumpkin pie, truffle bites, or anything related to pumpkin pie. This is that time of year. So, all right, number three.
Okay, Friendsgiving grazing platter.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So this would be a large board with obviously artisan cheeses, fall fruits. We're thinking more like figs and pears. Pears is a big fall fruit, and they're so good, like with everything.
Mm,
Honeycomb, and then a rosemary garnish. The rosemary is just perfect for any kind of garnishing because it looks like a pine tree. It looks like
yeah,
a pine tree twig. And those are
right.
just gonna, that's something you want to have on hand in
Yeah.
these coming
If I could give
things.
you advice, they grow like a weed. I had one in my yard I was taking over, and you can just grow them in your house
They
if you're
do.
in the cold
Yep.
weather areas, like right now. In fact, this
I'd
weekend
grow
I'm
it all
gonna
year round.
grow it all
Yeah.
year round. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Okay, number four for Thanksgiving is cranberry orange scone gift bags. Yum, yum, yum. Homemade scones, or maybe the kit of mix wrapped
Hmm.
in special holiday paper of some sort with twine. So either put it in the mix or you have them made up in advance. I'd make a little, maybe two or three, and put them in a gift bag. What a great idea that is. I just love scones and anything related to orangey flavored like drizzle on them and stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, ooh,
Scones has been on my list. It is on my list,
it's on my list
and
too.
I really want to do that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
we're not supposed to eat them because we're about
I
diabetics, but hey, whatever.
know. I know.
We're not supposed
That's
to
what
eat a
drugs
lot
are
of
for.
things, but we still do. Yeah.
We eat the bad stuff and we take our
That's
medication.
number five on Thanksgiving. I actually did this last year
Love
and
this.
it went over phenomenal. And it was easy and cheap to make. Stuffing in a jar mix. So in lieu
Mm,
of my soup in a jar mix, I put stuffing. I had to buy a bigger bag, as I told everybody. I used three different size bags. So I have little teeny mason jar looking bags for the spices. I have the medium sized bag for the soups, and I have the large bags for muffin mixes. And I did the stuffing in the jar. And I only did cornbread. I did not do anything else. And it
mm.
was so stinking easy because all the stuff is, it's dried.
Yeah,
So I just dried out the breadcrumbs. I ran them through a little food processor just to get them a little bit smaller because the challenge to get them in that bag and have them
yeah.
lay right, they had to be a little more chopped up. And that was it. And I already had the vegetables. I had all the herbs and spices and stuff. So
Just
it
add
is
water or
flew
broth.
right off. Like the
Yeah.
first time I did it, which I can't even remember now because even though that was a year ago, I went to like I think a harvest festival. Gone. They
Mhm.
were gone. I only made six of them because I wanted to see how they did. They were gone. First thing.
So, are you buying the bread at the because
No, I made
you
my
don't
own.
you did make your own. Okay.
Yep, I made my
And
own bread
okay,
and
the cornbread. Okay.
yeah, I made my own bread, my own cornbread because I do kind of a sweeter cornbread for my stuffing mix. It's similar to the Jiffy Box mix, if anybody's had that. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah.
sweet.
Love that.
That
That's
I
cheap too.
prefer that sweeter flavor to
Yeah.
my cornbread stuffing.
Yeah.
So I made that and just crumbled it all up and dried them out in the oven and threw them in the
Yeah.
bags. And, once you've got your portion right, you do have to work on that a little bit. And then that one only required some water because
Yeah.
I actually added the chicken broth to it as well,
Oh
dried
yeah,
chicken
good
broth.
call.
And I did a vegetable version of it as well. So I make my own vegetable bouillon because the ones I find on the shelf are terrible. So all they had to do was add hot water to it, just like you would like with,
Yeah.
the stuffing in the store. Only this is, it doesn't have a bunch of crap in it.
What
It doesn't
about
have any
butter though? Don't you
preservatives.
need butter?
Yeah, you could add butter to it. You could
Yeah.
add butter to it. I
Yeah.
believe that my recipe had that on there, add butter if wanted or
Wanted to.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right. You don't
Love
have
that.
to.
I
Yeah.
love that idea. I would be making a lot of that. Maybe everybody ought to jump on that like right now because I
Yeah, that
mean,
one was gone. That one was gone right off the shelf. I'm
yeah.
trying to get myself out of my out of my sun
It's
coming through the
yeah,
window.
sun's coming through.
So,
Good.
yeah, that's
Cool.
a good one.
All right, we're going to jump into Hanukkah right now. Blue and gold grazing boards. So maybe you consider smoked salmon, dill, cream cheese. The thing about it is our Jewish friends, they don't eat a lot of pork, so you kind of got to work around that when it comes to the grazing boards. But smoked salmon, dill, cream cheese, mini bagels, cucumber slices, and blue napkins, and you can throw a dreidel or two on there just for
Oh,
fun,
there
you
you
know.
go. The
So
dreidels, they're
yeah,
probably $1.50 a bag now, but
yeah, exactly, exactly.
but that's
So
a great idea.
yeah, just for fun.
Okay. Number two, chocolate gelt bark. So white and dark chocolate, swirled bark topped with some gold gelt pieces and sea salt. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to be honest with that. I don't
Look it
know
up while I'm
exactly
talking.
what
What
is
gelt is?
gelt.
Yeah, I don't know. I know we put that on there, and I was actually going to look it up before we got on here because I thought, oh, that sounds kind of good because we're not
Funny that I
Jewish.
that I ended
But
up with it. Gelt.
yeah,
Hanukkah gelt.
yeah, look it up.
I am
Um,
looking it up.
while she's
Chocolate
looking,
coins. Chocolate coins
oh,
given to
duh. Okay,
children.
well, geez. Okay,
Given
why?
to children during Hanukkah. Sorry, all the
Yeah,
Jewish
we're
people out
really sorry
there.
about that. We should have known that.
I know, but also sling for money or the act of gilding or being gilded. So there you go. It's little
Well,
coins.
Andrea will remember when we were growing up, if we didn't get chocolate coins in our stockings every
Yeah,
year, there was
we
something
were
wrong.
cheated. We were cheated.
We always
Screw
got
that
them.
Santa.
We always got them. Okay, number three for the Hanukkah season, latkes and lox mini box, a small party platter of homemade latkes. Ooh, which are
Ooh,
basically potato
sounds
pancakes,
good.
right?
Yeah, I
With
love
sides of
potato pancakes.
applesauce and sour cream. That I do
Uh,
love that. Ooh, yum,
yeah,
yum, yum.
that
In fact,
sounds
it just occurred to
fabulous.
me that when our oldest brother loves potato pancakes, and they were in
Yeah.
town, oh, 3 or 4 months ago, and they bought a box like a mixture, and they're still up in the cupboard. Maybe I'll make those for dinner.
Oh,
They sound, ooh,
I
yum.
don't even do that. I just use a potato. I don't use like any kind of mix.
I
It's
don't
so
think they
good.
normally did. They just maybe saw it and they brought them,
They're
and then
like,
they,
oh, let's get that.
you know
Yeah.
how James is when they come to town. They love eating.
Yeah,
So, and
they
they love
do.
cooking.
Our whole family loves eating, but not
Yeah, no
everybody
kidding.
likes to cook. So that's a little bit different. But
Oh, yeah, we all do
all
actually.
right. So the next one, number four for Hanukkah, dreidel cookie decorating kit.
There
Same
he is. Speaking of
idea as the
dreidels.
other cookie decorating kits, but use the
Yeah,
blue and the white
yeah.
and use a cookie cutter that looks like a dreidel. I know that they sell those. I've seen those at Sur La Table. I've seen those on Amazon.
Hmm.
You could get even that or what is the candle shaped one.
Oh
So
yeah.
um
Well, the
what's the candle
menorah,
called?
the menorah.
Menorah. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So you can do that. And I think that's an awesome idea. So blue and
Nice.
white, obviously blue and white icing, and then do your sprinkles and all that stuff in the little packs and
Yep.
just package it up for the kids.
Nice. Okay, number five for Hanukkah season, Hanukkah dessert grazing tray, which is going to be full of desserts, which I love rugula. It's one of my favorite things. Chocolate covered pretzels, marshmallows, and gelt again, presented on a blue
Coins.
accented, now we know what it is. Presented on a blue accented board. Just, and another thing I think about is like you could put ribbons, blue and white ribbons and things on
Mm-hmm.
there just to
Mm-hmm.
make it look prettier and all of that.
I'm
So,
sure there's a ton of, Hanukkah things out there if you wanted to go,
oh,
purchase something in
tons.
particular, but
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
they're all over that.
No, love it. Okay, on to
Okay,
Christmas season.
yay, yay, Christmas. Holiday charcuterie tree board.
Let me
Arrange
see
all your meats
plans.
and everything that you're doing that you would normally do for any kind of board. And I'm sure you guys, if you're doing charcuterie, you've probably seen this where they shape everything into like a Christmas tree,
Hmm.
and maybe cut things into round shapes to make the ornaments or the lights or whatever. And I mean, I don't think there's enough people doing that.
No,
I'll
go
be
to
honest.
go to Pinterest. You'll see a
Yeah.
crap ton ideas.
Yeah, I don't see enough of my local people doing that. I
Yeah.
don't do enough of that. So that is something if you really wanted to stand out to the neighborhood, that's one way to do it.
That's fun. And if you're going to you can sell them and people can take them to I would definitely be making those, taking pictures
Uh-huh.
of them and putting them on my website like today.
Yep.
If you're going to be offering that kind of stuff. So you definitely plan ahead. And I guess when it comes to that, if you're doing charcuterie carts, you can have things that are, start like make a little tray or what a cup. And if you're going to be doing a cart during the holiday season, any of these holidays, really, all of the stuff can be loaded into your carts ahead of time so that and then take an image of it so that you can put those on your website. So give people to want to have you come to their parties or,
Yeah.
corporate events and things that you can promote. So,
Hmm.
very love it. Okay, number two for the holiday season, Santa's sweet and savory box, a mix of fudge, ooh, cheddar cubes. Oh, I love that combination of cheese and chocolate. Oh,
Hmm.
mini cookies and peppermint bark, which I think is easy to make.
Yeah.
Um,
I would add some nuts to that mixture as
yeah,
well.
nuts. And I was
So,
also thinking about puppy chow, what you make out of Chex Mix. You
oh,
ever
oh
made
yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
puppy chow. It's really easy to make.
It's
So,
just a terrible name though.
yeah.
Just like it's just not right.
So
Uh
it
okay.
looks like turds. That's why.
I know,
No,
like
I don't
that's
know why.
just I don't know why they call it that. I
I
mean,
love
I know
no
why they
powder
call
turd.
it that. It looks like dog food, is what it
Yeah, I think
looks
that's
like.
why. Okay, number three for
Okay,
Christmas.
number three, hot cocoa and cookie crate DIY crate with cocoa bombs, marshmallows, and dipped biscotti. Again, just a
Ooh,
little gifty thing. And don't even, if you don't want to make the crate, just go buy one of your boxes, one of
yeah.
your inexpensive boxes on Amazon or whatever, and then pile it all in there and just make it an easy thing for like an entire family to enjoy as a gift. Then
Yeah,
they
at
get
least four
multiple cocoa
people.
bonds. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say at least four.
Yeah.
So you'd have enough stuff in there to do four decent cups and everybody can have fun with their filling up their hot chocolate.
Yeah, love it. Okay, number four, grazing ornament jars. This is kind of a cool idea. Mason jars layered with nuts, dried fruit, and cheese crisps tied with, just as an example, a mini spoon and a ribbon. I love making ornaments during the holidays, and they sell balls. If you go over to, I don't know if it's very sanitary, but they do sell the balls that you can
Yeah,
actually load up full of stuff
I've
and put
seen
them in
people do that
those.
at craft fairs. They
Yeah.
fill it with, usually it's got like the chocolate bomb stuff, or I'm sorry, the cocoa bomb stuff in it.
Uh-huh.
But they do sell those round,
Right.
everybody's got them, Amazon, Walmart, whatever, Hobby Lobby. So they sell those round ornament balls that you would normally make
Mm-hmm.
ornaments with, and they open up and you just put whatever you want in there,
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of ornaments and non-food items, I make ornaments every single year. Last year I had a big dinner party and we actually went out to eat, but there were probably about 14 of us there and I made 14 different ornaments that you can buy at the dollar store, those plastic balls like that.
Hmm.
They also had them in the shape of like light bulbs and and then you could
Oh, yeah,
decorate
yeah.
them up. So
Hmm.
I just took, but you got to be careful a little bit because those were plastic and I was using hot glue and some of them kind of melted into weird shapes. But the glass balls you can make all day long, and you can sell easily. Just put on ribbons. It's what I do. I just buy ribbon, and you buy them when they're on sale, and you can decorate them up, and you can put things inside the balls sometimes, like if you want to paint the inside or whatever. Spray them. I have a spray. I spray in the inside. I have a bunch of sparkles. So anyway, that's a non-food item, but if you want to make your own ornaments, they usually will sell great. And you can give them away for the holidays, which you can go to, that's
Hmm.
just great. I love to do. Okay, number five for holidays, and we're gonna wrap it up with New Year's and get out of here. So, the number five.
Oh, number five on Christmas.
Yeah.
12 days of charcuterie sampler, a premium gift box with 12 different cheeses, different meats, and or spreads. You could do both. However you want to do it, and then set that up for, so it looks kind of like a,
Love it.
what do you call it? Like the 12 days of Christmas thing.
Yeah, but
Just a
how
little
would you,
sampler.
yeah, the 12 different
I think
cheeses.
you could do this in the same way that you did the Snackle box. So you
Okay.
would have, maybe a little bit bigger box. They
Mm-hmm.
do sell them in different sizes. And then, you would just make little bit bigger spaces because
Yeah.
some of them would let you adjust the space on there too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was thinking of when I first read this.
Yeah.
But I
Love
think
it.
it's a cool idea.
Nice. All right.
New Year's.
You're on New Year's. All right. Midnight grazing board. Ooh, bubbly worthy. Now, I would stay away from alcohol, but I'm just saying that. But this isn't related to alcohol. I'm just saying that I would not be the one selling alcohol, so be
Oh,
careful
no,
of
not
that.
at all, because you
Bubbly
can't do
worthy
that.
bites though. Brie and honey drizzle, prosciutto wrapped melon and dark chocolate squares. So you could have a board just full of all these yummy, yummy type things that are a little bit more, I guess, fancy for the new year. I do love that
Yeah.
whole idea quite a
And I think
bit.
they go well with like champagne. So another
Yeah,
one, obviously strawberries
right.
goes well with champagne. So you could chocolate dip some
And I
strawberries.
guess why I'm thinking about that, because for some reason I'm thinking cheese fondue
Yeah.
is kind of a big thing for New Year. So maybe you
Yeah.
could put together a pack of like cheese fondue type items, bread, and
You could do the
cheese,
cheeses in
the
a,
cheese that comes in
yeah,
the
the cheese already grated into a
yeah.
bag.
Oh, yeah.
And then all they have to do is add the wine,
The wine.
and
Yeah.
it's usually just wine and
Yeah.
maybe some garlic or something, unless you could do dry garlic, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
Yeah.
another thought.
Yum. Okay,
I
number
know that sounds
two.
really good. I'm like, I want
Yeah,
to
I
make that.
know. I'm getting
Uh,
hungry again, like I always do at this time. We
Number
keep
two,
talking about food
champagne and
for 2
cheese
hours.
pairing back. So again, we're not selling the champagne. What we're doing is putting things in there that go well with champagne. And you would just want to include those suggested pairings with the cheese cards and crackers. And this would just give people ideas of how to go about, putting together their boards and
Hmm.
giving something away, because you can't sell the champagne, but you can
Yeah.
sell the stuff that goes with it, and that's going to go with it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
goes good with it.
Yeah, I know. So I just love the idea of just having stuff that I can just have it and pull it out because we're having a party at the last second and
Yeah.
people drop by and like,
Somebody
oh, look
gave
what
you
I got.
something.
Yeah,
I know. I
exactly.
forgot about this.
Yeah. Who is it we were talking about that does the joke on having oh gosh. Oh, with that the Italian
Oh,
comedian.
Maniscalco.
Yeah, and he does the always got to make sure you've got your
Oh, you got to make sure you got
Danishes
your Sara Lee on the
Entenmann's.
table.
Oh, your Sara Lee.
Sara Lee.
Make sure you have Sara Lee handy
Yeah,
because
we
it's
were
only for the
talking about,
company.
yeah, we were talking about how when he was a kid. So now, when he was a kid, they always had to have, come in and have some Sara Lee. And then his mom would say, no, she'd buy the Sara Lee and nobody was allowed to eat it because they saved it for people that were coming to visit.
Yeah,
And now he says, now it's like you get your gun out, you get your swords out,
when the
everybody
door.
hides behind the couch when the doorbell rings. It's a
You got
totally different world.
you
But
got to look him
anyway,
up if you haven't
he's
or
so
watched him.
funny.
He's so funny.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Okay, number three, New Year's Eve snack tower. Ooh,
Ooh.
snackable mini boxes and different type snack things, salty, sweet, and savory layers. I'm picturing even like a pretzel
Mhm.
stack. Like you can make your own pretzels.
Yeah.
They could be sweet and
And they
savory,
go
and
like
then
on a
the
stick.
stick,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Or donuts, I guess, if you want to do
Yeah, you
donuts,
could
because
do
that's not a
that.
bad idea either. All right,
Yeah.
cool. You
Probably
get
be
the,
easier.
yeah. Number four.
Okay, number four, hangover helper. Yum.
Yeah.
Breakfast box. Mini quiches. You need that protein in the morning after you drink too much. Muffins, fruit, coffee beans for the morning after.
Hmm.
So
Good
coffee beans
idea.
is a good idea. Yeah, that's
I
not
think
something I
that's
would
an
have thought
amazing
of.
idea for a market gifting because I don't think I've ever seen
I don't
anything
think
like
anybody ever
that.
thinks about like the day after.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
yeah, now we're both going, what can we
That
do
would
to make
sell.
that work?
Yeah, no, that would totally sell. I
Yeah,
could
that would
see that
sell.
being so out of the box different, over
Yeah,
out of the hangover box different. That's a
yeah.
great idea. All right, last of our 25. Cheers charcuterie cups. So clear cups, gold confetti lids featuring cheese cubes, salami, roses, grapes, and all that stuff.
All
So I
the
know
other
we've hit
stuff.
a
Yeah.
lot of charcuterie, and many of you can't sell charcuterie or are not selling charcuterie because you're not in this niche, but we obviously help people with their charcuterie businesses. So
Hmm.
if you and I guess on the other hand, if you're struggling, I had some poor person this week go, we wanted to so badly to start our charcuterie business, but found out it's just not going to happen with their cart in their neck of the woods. The laws just are really
They
strict
were
with,
too strict. Yeah.
yeah, and I felt bad. But, so now it's kind of like, all right, well, how about you guys think about, selling cottage food,
But you can do
so
cottage food.
yeah,
If you had a cart, you could do popcorn, you can do pretzels, you
yeah,
can do the dips that go in there. You can do a lot of things with the cart. If you already have one and you
yeah,
realize that the cottage food law in your state is just creating too much of a
yeah, so yeah,
barrier,
right,
then go and look at
yeah,
these other items that you can sell out of that cart. Nobody is restricted to anything when it comes to what you're selling in there. It just has, you got to be careful that
Well, the
it's on the
key is
list,
if it's
whatever your list
cottage.
is, and it can't be perishable.
Well, if it's
So,
cottage, it needs to be wrapped up. So that brings me to my what I'm going to do. And Andrew and I were talking about it. She's signing up for a big event in where we live, and I want to pack up my charcuterie gift boxes ahead of
mhm,
time. I can do them here at home,
right.
and so we bring them and they're already made. So we're just going to bring them and put them in the cart. I'm just going to take out the little square boxes and just set
Hmm.
them in the box, and then I'll load up my cooler with anything I can. And when I sell out, I sell out. Hopefully, I'll sell out. But I mean, to sell those for $40 a piece, because they're going to have they'll have charcuterie in the gift boxes. They're going to be pretty gift boxes. Again, it comes down to the wrapping, but also I'm going to have the piped cupcakes that will be floured cupcakes in there too. So my goal is to sell those for gifts if I can. So we'll see, what happens.
So
But
you guys will be following us along on
yeah,
another pop-up
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
We're not doing that until after the holidays because we just got both of us have way too much
That
going
stuff
on.
going on. But no, I mean, I
So
do actually have, well, you're going to be doing the fair there. Oh, as far as the cart goes, you're talking about.
yeah, as far as
Um,
just anything we're gonna do, I
yeah,
don't think
I have
you
an
have an
event.
event coming up,
A person,
and
yeah, actually, I've got hired by Arizona State University to go
yeah.
with the charcuterie cart. So,
Hmm.
by the way, it's a way better gig than sitting out in 90-degree heat worrying about your food melting. So that was,
Yeah,
it was
and
gonna be good
getting
because
getting
they already paid me.
thunder and lightning
So,
monsoons.
yeah, and this
Good
they paid
times.
me a down payment already. It's not
Hmm.
until early June. So, I mean, not June, early November.
November. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, yeah, this was kind of a long one, but we're making up for the fact that Andrew was sick as a dog for the
I
last two
know.
weeks. So
Sorry,
hopefully
everybody.
y'all
Hopefully
got,
I can
yeah,
keep it
stay
together
healthy.
coming
Yeah,
forward, going
yeah,
forward.
yeah.
Although we are going to our niece's wedding this weekend, so hopefully I don't catch some nasty bug on the plane because
Oh
I
God, stop. You
typically
stop
catch some.
now.
I'm just
God,
saying,
I
every time
know.
I fly anyway, I spend a lot of time at home and I do deliveries and I do this and that. And then I go and do like a pop up here and there. And then every time I do that, like literally
I
2 days
know.
later, get sick. But
No.
that's just me. That's just my immune system sucks. So,
Yeah, well, I think it's for everybody who spent a lot of time in the house or not going out much. It's kind of the same thing with me these days. But
yeah.
yeah, it's the way. And then we're around our grandkids, which isn't helping things because
Yeah,
they're making
yeah.
us sick
Because
too.
they're
But
going to daycare and making us sick.
yeah,
So
that's all right. That's a decent
that's all right. I'll
trade-off.
take that any
I'll
day of
take
the
that
week.
trade-off all day long for
I
sure.
know.
Well, I love you, sister. Good to
Okay,
see
love
you
you too.
feeling a little better. And I'll see you in a few days when
I'll
we
see you in a few
travel to,
days
yeah.
as we
Everybody have a
head
great one.
to
Make
the
sure
other
you tell
side.
the whole world about us. We're still here, loving talking about food and
Trying to help
anything.
everybody out,
Yeah, yeah.
encouraging you guys to get out there and do it.
Yeah, and if you want our help, get those show notes down there. Click on links. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of free stuff down there in these links. So we're gonna help
Hmm.
you out. Or if you want us to help you, you can pay us. We'll help you too.
Call us. Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Okay.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.